KUNV family. This is Monique Buchanan, the host of the Welcome Home with Monique show, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the show this morning. Listen, before I get started, I always want to give thanks to Jesus Christ, my Savior, the reason for all my success and the reason that I'm able to talk to you beautiful people in the morning. So thank you. Thank you. Let's go ahead and jump into the show. I've been having an amazing year this year. It's off to a great start, and I'm praying that it is the same for you guys out there as well. 2024 has been bringing a lot of, KUNV listeners reaching out in regards to listing their property with me as well as purchasing properties. So I want to take a moment and thank each and every one of you. Also, I have been doing quite a bit of listings that involve probate. In case you didn't know, that is one of my specialties. Not every realtor is well versed in probate. It's a whole process. And so not every realtor even assist with probate. A lot of times they'll shy away from it because, it does take a little bit of extra knowledge to understand the process of probate. So if that is something that you, are facing right now, maybe you have a property that has been given to you and your family, and you need guidance on what that looks like for you to list that property and go ahead and, get that ball rolling. I kind of want to talk a little bit on that because I've already done 6 this year. So I said, you know what? There's probably a lot of people out there that are like many of my clients that call and they need my guidance. They need to know, what is the first step? What do we do? How does this all work? One of my questions is, was there a will in place? Was there not a will in place? Was there a trust? So typically when you go through probate, that means there was no trust in place, because whenever you have a trust document, by the way, full disclosure, I am not a lawyer, but I will refer you to some really great lawyers out here that do handle probates. And by the way, there's not a whole lot of lawyers out there that handle probates. You'll find that when you're looking for one, it's not easy to find one. But I do have a couple that I work with hand in hand that are really great, that are, on the up and up, and will walk you and guide you through it. But anyways, back to it. So just when you're going through a probate, normally that means that the person that passed away did not have a trust put in place. If there is a trust in place, there's no need for probate. Okay. So typically when you'll reach out to me, I'll get you going. I'll kind of explain the process like I'm about to kind of do right now for everybody out there. You always want to get in contact with a lawyer, obviously a probate lawyer. And that's something that I can do for you, is refer you to a lawyer. Okay, so what's going to happen is they're going to look over everything and determine, was there a will? Was there not a will? They're going to appoint somebody to, be that administrator for you. So that person will have the right to sell the property, but the lawyer will petition to the court to have a court confirmation to give you the right to sell your property. So yes, we cannot sign any documents or get anything going until I get you with the lawyer. And then the lawyer is going to petition on your behalf and your family's behalf, right? To give you the right to sell whatever properties have been left behind for you guys. Maybe it's you and your siblings, maybe it's just you. So they'll get all that straight for you. And then after we do get that, confirmation from the courts, that's when the lawyer will come back to me and say, okay, Monique, here's the documents that are giving your clients the permission to go ahead and sell the property. Now that can take sometimes a little bit of time, you guys. So that might take a month or so. So you probably want to get the process started right away, just to even get that permission to sell. So I wouldn't sit on my hands if you're ready to go ahead and get the process started, because the whole process can sometimes take up to a year before you'll actually see those finances from the sale. So I would say get started sooner rather than later. If this interests you or you need some guidance in the probate area, I'm here to assist. 702-984-3700, 702-984-3700 if you're looking to list some property that you have been left, in probate. So let's get back to it. So now we have permission to list the property. So now I'm going to go ahead and work hand in hand with the lawyer, and I'm going to go ahead and list the property. Typically, they have to be listed as is. And what's going to happen is I have to disclose to the buyers that this is a probate sale. What does that mean, Monique? That means that, Mr. Buyer, although we are going to accept your offer, it is still subject to the court's approval. And at that court hearing, there's other investors that can come in and outbid this offer that you've given us, although we are accepting this offer. Okay? Maybe the property is selling for $800,000. I've talked to my clients. They're okay with accepting the offer at $800,000. But now at court, somebody outbids you and goes in at $850,000. That property will be sold to the person or the investor that outbids you at court. So there is a little bit of risk there for the buyer. Okay. So if you are right now in the market and you're wanting to purchase a probate property, try to keep that in mind. That this is a possibility at court. You can be outbid, but not to say that it happens all the time. I don't want to scare anybody, but this is something that I have to disclose to the buyers. So there is a whole process with this probate listing. So another thing that I want to talk about is a lot of people, they get these properties and maybe these properties have been vacant for years, or not for years, but for months. You know what I mean? Because maybe the person was in the hospital or whatever, the reason may be. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to the property, or, there needs to be junk removal, or maybe all kinds of, if there's issues with a listing, any listing, not just probate, understand and know that I have a team in place that will go ahead. And if the air conditioning unit, that it's completely out and you're avoiding listing the property because of that, guess what, guys? I do have an air conditioning company that will remedy that for you, and you do not have to pay up front. Once you secure the close of the sale, they'll go ahead and collect their funds at the close. So you don't have to worry about upfront cost. And that goes not only for air conditioning units, but junk removal, or maybe the house has a lot of things going on with it that you're just shying away from listing it because you're just overwhelmed with what you think needs to be fixed. Let me figure that out as your realtor. That's what I'm here for. I have a team. This is what we do so that we make it a lighter load for you. I figure out ways to make sure that you don't have to come out of your pocket, or even you and the family don't have to come out of your pocket right out of the gate, and try to scrounge up money to get all these repairs done. You don't need to do that. That's what me and my team are here for. And I do have resources where these contractors will take care of whatever that is, even if the pool needs repairs. It's been empty for years, or whatever the case may be. Don't worry. I have people in place that will go ahead and remedy it, right away, so that we can list the property, get top dollar. And then when we close on the property, you can simply take care of those folks at that point. Okay. So yes. So anyway, we go ahead, list the property. We inform the buyers that yes, you can get outbid, because the judge's whole, point of that hearing is to make sure to secure as much as he can for that property. Okay. So there is an overbidding process that does or can happen, but 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen. And the buyer goes ahead and we move forward with the offer that we accepted. Okay. The court will then go ahead and confirm that. Now, mind you, once we cannot get a hearing until we accept an offer. And so right now, it always changes with the courts, but right now it's taking about a month or 2 months to get that hearing. So let me just play it out for you. The lawyer tells me, Monique, your clients are ready to go ahead and list the property. I've named who the administrator is, and we're going to be able to go ahead and have that administrator sign your listing documents and get it listed. All right, great. We list the property. We go over all of our offers. We accept an offer. Now the lawyer is going to petition the court again and say, hey, listen, we've got a viable offer. We're ready to move forward. Now, to get that court hearing, that could take up to 2 months, okay? So I also have to disclose this to the buyers. This is not going to typically be a quick sale. Normal sales are within 30 days. This could be 2 months. And if the courts are backed up, it might be 3 months. But it could be this long, you know what I mean? So I'm just giving you an idea of how this works. We go ahead and get in there. We get our court date. The judge signs off on the offer that we accepted. Okay, great. Now, normally that only takes about 10 to 15 days after the court confirms and approves that offer that we accepted, and then we can go ahead and close, you guys, okay? So now that that's closed, if you use one of the contractors to have things fixed on the property, then great. They get paid out through the title company and through the proceeds that the probate is bringing in. So they're going to go ahead and get taken care of. And then the rest of the proceeds will be sent over to the lawyer for him or her to disperse. Okay, now that can take a little bit of time too. That's why I say it's best to get the process started now if you are in a situation where you have been left a property through probate. Okay, so you know that you need to go ahead and get this process going. You just don't know what to do, where to start. That's what I'm here for. Me and my team, we're here to help. My number is 702-984-3700. Again, 702-984-3700. All right. WelcomeHomeWithMonique.com is my website. You can also check me out on YouTube, The Welcome Home Show with Monique. It's on there as well. And anywhere that you listen to your podcast, I'm on there as well with my previous shows. Okay, guys. And if you are thinking about listing your property, you guys have heard me say many a times, we are in basically a buyer's market because of the feds raising those rates. Now, they have announced that they're going to be lowering the rates, throughout the year and the following year. So it's not a secret. It's all over the news. But if you are in a position where you want to sell now, it is imperative that you have a realtor that can market your property and get the most exposure for your property. Because let me tell you, the buyers have options right now, right? So listen, with this platform, KUNV, we have over 100,000 listeners per week, and that gives me a very unique and distinctive edge on many of my colleagues. I'm able to promote your listing right here on the show. This has been very successful for all of my previous listings, and they have gotten top dollar, and I attribute that to none other than my KUNV family and 91.5. So if you are thinking about listing your property, my number is 702-984-3700, 702-984-3700. And on that note, let's talk about the selling steps, okay? So obviously, first of all, you need to contact your realtor, 702-984-3700. I'll do a listing appointment with you. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to pop over to the property and just chat with you, find out what updates you've done to the property, if any, walk the property. Obviously, I can pull the property and take a look at the specs of the property, but I need to put eyes on the property so that I can really get a feel for what is going on with the property and what updating, if any, that you, like I said, have done. This is, of course, going to affect what we can list that property for. And listing your property with the right price right now is imperative, okay? Because like I said, we are not in a seller's market right now. So we want to make sure that we list it right. Because listen, 2-week window. That's what you have. You're the pretty girl on the block for 2 weeks. And after that, the buyers start wondering what's wrong with you and why you're still on the market. So that's imperative that we have the right price there. And we can go ahead, talk about staging if that's needed. A lot of people are doing the virtual staging, which is awesome. But, in my higher end properties, we probably want to go ahead and do the actual staging if that's necessary as well. All right. So we're going to talk about just getting the property ready. Okay. I'm going to give you insight. That's what I do. If we're looking at a property that, we don't want to break the bank, but we want to try to get as much as we possibly can. That's why I'm going to come over, walk the property, let you know, hey, maybe we don't need to do a full-on rehab to the property, but we can do small things that's not going to cost too much. Maybe just some paint and have one of my, referral painters come over and paint the property. That'll give it a fresh coat of paint. Maybe if we need to paint a couple cabinets, give it a contemporary look, but without breaking the bank, we can do so. So not everything's going to cost an arm and a leg. Now, if you're prepared to spend so that we can, go ahead and get the top dollar for what's going on in that neighborhood, maybe you have a property that's been, 20 years without any updating. And maybe as it is, it will only sell for $600,000. But if you do a little bit of updating and maybe a rehab, we can go ahead and get the neighborhood price, top price that is, of maybe even upwards of $750,000, $800,000. So it might be worth you putting in, $50,000 in updating to go ahead and secure that top value and that top price. So we will discuss that when I come over and do the listing presentation and sit with you and kind of walk the property. If you're interested, this is Monique Buchanan, 702-984-3700. Again, 702-984-3700. And we're talking about, well, we've been talking about listings for the show, probate listings. If you have, you're in a situation where you need to go ahead and secure a lawyer, you don't know who you can talk to and kind of get that guidance, I do have a referral for you, as well as I can represent you on the real estate side of that, because not all realtors are well versed in the process of a probate. Also, the verbiage that has to take place on the listing. There's a lot that goes into a probate listing versus just a traditional listing. So that is one of my specialties, and I can walk you through that as well. Also, if you have a property, what we call like an ugly property, or a property that you know has a lot of issues going on with it, I'm here to assist you as well. I have a team in place, contractors, air conditioning men, handymen, painters. I have the team, and the team will accept payment at close of escrow. So what does that mean? That means you don't have to worry about paying all these costs to get the property ready for listing. Okay, you can go ahead and pay after we sell the property. So that takes a lot of weight off of a lot of my sellers' backs. They're like, oh, thank you, because sometimes these costs, a new air conditioning system, that can be $7,000 for one unit, so, or the pool needs some help, you know what I mean? Some decking, or maybe it has issues. Those things can really run, into quite a bit of money. So having this team in place to assist you, that will allow you to pay at the close of escrow instead of right at the beginning. You're trying to get that together, especially dealing with family. We all know that can be sometimes, a little hairy situation. So that's what I'm here to just make that load lighter for you and give you those resources. And then, of course, get you to the closing table and help you out in that way. But also, if you're just thinking about listing your property at all, I was talking about the importance of marketing. Marketing is huge, yes. Every realtor in the Valley can put you on the MLS. And they can also put you on Zillow, Homes.com, or whatever platform, right? But I am very humbled and blessed to have this platform. This is a very unique platform that I do have. That's why you hear me talking about luxury listings. I have luxury agents reach out to me asking me, can you please promote my listing on your radio show? Well, guess what? I can promote my sellers' listings as well. And that gives them the most exposure, more exposure than any other realtor that does not have a real estate radio show, such as Welcome Home with Monique, and my KUNV listeners listening. And then you guys are out there sharing, hey, I heard about a property on Monique's show. Well, guess what? Now you have the potential of having thousands of people going to my website, looking at your listing. And what does that do for you? That obviously gives it the most exposure, which also can bring in the most money for your property. So I'm so humbled by that, you guys, but it's been such a blessing for my sellers in the past. No matter what market, I'm able to get that property a lot of exposure just by mentioning the address right here to you guys, my family, KUNV listeners, okay? So I hope this is helping you guys, especially when you're thinking about listing. Another thing about listing with me and my team is we're very well versed with buyers. We have a lot of buyers, actually. A lot of buyers that are ready to go. So in many cases, I'll get a listing and then the buyer is already ready to go. And there you go. It gets sold right out the gate because we have an influx of buyers. We also know what buyers are looking at, what they're thinking. You know what I mean? So I'll tell my sellers, like I mentioned before, listen, if we're sitting on the market for over such a period of time, that starts making buyers wonder, well, what's wrong with that property? Why hasn't it sold? I wonder if there's any issues that's going on with the property. We also know that when we walk into a property, we can advise our sellers on how the property needs to be, how it needs to look when it walks in. We need to have things cleared out. So a buyer can visualize themselves living there. That's what they need. They need to be able to visualize themselves living there and utilizing that space. So I'm just going over the The listing process, you're going to reach out and then I'm going to come over, take a look at the property. I'm going to give you what's called a comp, and that's basically going to be what the property is selling for that are like yours in your neighborhood or within a 1 mile radius of your neighborhood. Why 1 mile? Because that's typically what the appraiser is going to do. They're typically going to look around 1 mile of your property and try to find a like property. In other words, if your property is 3,500 square feet, they're going to be looking at homes that have sold around 33 to 3,700 square feet, around the same amount of bedrooms, around the same amount of garages. You're getting my drift. You know what I mean? So I'll sit with you, go over that, tell you what I've come up with, and share with you what I think that we should list the property at. Now, once we get past that, we're going to walk the property again, and I'm going to give you helpful hints on how the property needs to be staged, if at all, or what it just needs to look like or even smell like when they walk in. And I'm just being funny, but yes, I do like the Glade plugins and things like that just to make it pleasant. And buyers are funny, you guys. When they walk in, they're paying attention to the little things, you know what I mean? They're looking to see if there's scuffs all on the wall, things that we can correct before we list. These things don't cost a whole lot of money to have done, but they really make a huge difference. They're looking at the baseboards. Are they clean? Things like that. When they walk in, I've had plenty of client comment on the smell. So if we need to get the carpets clean, I'm going to tell you, hey, let's go ahead and freshen up the house. If it needs a fresh coat of paint, loud colors, we want to do neutral colors. If we're going to try to get top dollar, we're going to try to make it as neutral as possible so that the new buyers can envision themselves coming in. And, if they have a love for purple, then they can go ahead and paint that bedroom purple. But if your purple room if it's a purple room right now, I would highly recommend painting that like a neutral white, a crisp white, or something that's very neutral so that the buyers can, once again, not be, kind of thrown off by that, because everybody has their own taste. That's why we say as realtors, try to make everything as neutral as possible so that the new buyers can envision themselves living there. So these are just little tidbits that I'm giving you. And since we're speaking about listings, I'm going to give you the special and highlighted listings for you today. So, okay, we've got one, you guys. We've got a couple that we're going to talk about, and every listing that you hear me speak on today is in the Summerlin area. All right. So this one I really want to talk about is a brand new listing, you guys, and it was the model. They are selling this model with the furnishings. So we all know what those models look like, right? When you walk in, everything is like, over the top. Well, guess what? They're selling it with the furniture. It already has a pool. You heard me right. A pool in the backyard. So the yard is already landscaped. It is ready to go. It is 2,279 square feet. The lot size is 3,920. But guys, it has Las Vegas Strip views. And it's a 3-bedroom, 2 full bath, okay? And listen, this price that I'm about to tell you is with the furniture, with the pool, all right? $1,038,715. Yes, so you don't have to buy any furniture, none of that. The primary suite expands across the back of the home and has a covered patio. That's just, getting you a little taste. If you're interested in viewing this property that is already furnished, already has the pool, and it's going for just over $1 million in the Summerlin area, okay? It's Summerlin area, guys. You can reach me at 702-984-3700, all right? Now, we do have another property. It is sitting on a 20,000 square foot lot. Alrighty. And this is in what we call the Section 10 area. The house itself is just over 4,000 square feet. It is a 6-bedroom home. All right. And it is in a gated community. Now they're asking 1.3 for this property. Now it does have an oasis, in the backyard. It's got the sparkling pool and of course spa. It's on a 1/2-acre lot. Okay. The home has been updated and it has 4,000 square feet of just modern living space, you guys. It is a wower, all right? So if you're interested in looking at a property like this with a very low HOA, by the way, of only $65, gated, going for, just like I said, $1.3 million, but you're on a 20,000 square foot lot. That is very uncommon here in the Las Vegas Valley. And you're just right south of Summerlin. So you can be at the Summerlin Mall within maybe driving there, maybe about 7 minutes. 6 bedrooms, you guys. Over 4,000 square foot home. Of course, you have the 3-car garage and so much more. If you're interested in that property, again, 702-984-3700. And I can get you out there and have that property shown to you as well. All right, guys, we have one more. Now, this one's going for $1.1 million. It's also on a 20,000 square foot lot. This home is 3,500 square feet, just over. It's also 5 bedrooms, and it's very near the other property. So we call it Section 10, basically, like around Buffalo and the Sahara area. Now, this property also has a pool as well, and it's in a gated community, of course, okay? It has a basketball court, covered patio, and it's, if you want to look at this property, I can get you on over there and show the property to you. Now, this one has no HOA, all right, and the taxes are quite low. 3 full bath, over 3,500 square feet of home with a in-ground pool and basketball court. Okay, so once again, you're very near Summerlin, but it's a lot a lot of home to get for $1.1 million. All righty. Okay, last but not least, Andre Agassi's previous home is being sold. Listen, it is a 4-bedroom, 5 total bathrooms, and it is in the Spanish Hills community, which is guard gated. It has been fully remodeled. Yes, you can purchase Andre Agassi's old home, his previous home, and it's in the Spanish Hills community. Of course, it has a pool and spa. So if you are interested in looking at that property, it's going for $2.5 million. You can reach me at 702-984-3700, and we can go out and preview the property. 702-984-3700. Okay, guys, if you're looking to list or purchase a property, Monique Buchanan, I am here to help, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, that number is 702-984-3700. Website is welcomehomewithmonique.com, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Have a blessed weekend.